I've been asked to chair this session. It's a pleasure and an honor. We're going to have a very rich session this morning. We have presenters from different places, as you see on the program. There is one person missing from Brazil. She apologized yesterday. It's unfortunate, otherwise we would have had a good sample of multilingualism, multiculturalism. Anyway, before I say anything, we have, I think we have five or six presentations. We will see how things go. I'd like just to ask the colleagues here on this table just to stick to the time so that we give a chance to the others to 20 minutes presentation. So, the first, we are not going to depart from the geographic location Professor Gass said yesterday, so we'll go back to the States for a few minutes. And we welcome Dr. Ali Halalou from the University of Delaware. You see, born here, working there. And he is going to talk to us about mother tongue or minority mother tongues and the medium of instruction in multilingual North Africa. Talking about the Maghreb, we can use the term mother tongue for the Maghreb, I think it's good. What the experiments elsewhere tell us. I think this is an interesting question. Maybe a few words about Dr. Ali. He's a professor at the University of Delaware in the United States, professor of applied and sociolinguistics. So you see the interesting combination. Among his job, or at least his interests are, training. That's something not only as an interest but as a practice. Training teaching assistant in languages in very short term. He works both on French as well as on Amazigh. I think a good, yes, and a good example of multilingual, not to say bilingual because that's not enough in this crowd. So, see, Ali, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Obviously, my name is Ali Halalou, and thank you very much for being here to listen to me, providing you some information that I gathered all over the place during my research. I will start by the introduction to my paper. One of the challenging questions in post-colonial context is the manner in which education may be reformed to address the needs of independent societies and communities. Colonized people in Africa and elsewhere have struggled with the issue of the role of the mother tongue, or mother tongues, plural, in education and in general communication for decades. North Africa is very familiar with this challenge. In this talk, I am interested in exploring the issue and its challenges to society. Many of my friends in the audience and colleagues are familiar with the multilingual and multicultural nature of North Africa. Therefore, I will restrict most of my observations and comments to a minimum in order to focus on exploring complex and perhaps unfamiliar territories of multilingualism and education in the great nation of Morocco. First, we will explore the manner in which the framework for my presentation. We'll explore the manner in which the concept of mother tongues is framed worldwide and the role of mother tongues in general, because I use more or less a plural here, play in education in other contexts. When we link, then I will link this conceptual framework to how mother tongues are, the issue of mother tongues is discussed and dealt with in education in North Africa. Secondly, we will explore the manner in which mother tongues have been studied with regards to their use in education in other parts of the world, such as Africa, Europe, and in the Americas. Thirdly, we will explore how other contexts could inform us and provide some ideas on how to deal with mother tongues in North Africa, particularly in Morocco. Let's begin with the definition of the concept of mother tongues and how this definition may be seen as a controversial construct when it applies to exploring and discussing language in multilingual contexts in societies such as that of our great nation of Morocco. Let's consider As I mentioned earlier, this section explores the manner in which the concept of mother tongue is framed worldwide and the role the mother tongues play in education. The definitions. Let's begin with the concept of mother tongues in what it really means in the modern global era. Historians of languages and specialists of multilingualism often speak of local languages, or in other contexts they use the term vernacular, while in other contexts, such as in the African context, specialists of multilingualism resort to the term indigenous languages. These terms carry with them a variety of connotations, depending on the social political context to which they are applied. Furthermore, a certain hierarchy is implied in multilingual contexts involving and/or languages with prestige. Involving languages with prestige. Finally, anyone among us today who reads nationalists' treaties, such as those of the German writer and ideologue Herder and Herder-like thinkers, will come to understand that the concept of mother tongue is not a scientific, linguistic term, but a historical construct. In about 0.83 seconds, you would find on Google nearly 93 million quotes of what mother tongue means. Going through the results in order to analyze how users, commentators, and researchers define this concept is a daunting task, not only in the scope, but in the time it would take as well, to analyze it as well. We're not even talking about the amount of fake news and misleading information one could find in those results. So, what does really mother tongue mean in modern global era? The answer may vary depending on who defines the concept and in what context. The concept of mother tongue means different things to different people. However, since 1953, it's a long time ago, a well-established and respected organization by the name UNESCO has addressed the question of the mother tongue and within the context of education, which is what interests me here. In fact, the author of the UNESCO's there are too many of them, 1953 report titled "The Use of Vernacular Languages in Education," states in the introduction, quote, "It is axiomatic that the best medium for teaching a child is in his mother tongue." Note that the use of the pronoun his in this quote as a relic of the past in the post-Me Too movement reveals the age of the issue. This self-evident and questionable and undeniable truth that a child is disturbed by learning in his or in her or his mother tongue is not as evident to others as it appears to be to the authors of UNESCO in 1953. In its general statement, UNESCO report states, quote, "On educational grounds, we recommend that the mother tongue be extended to as late a stage in education as possible. In particular, pupils should begin their schooling through the medium of the mother tongue because they understand best and because to begin their schooling life in the mother tongue will make the break between home and school as small as possible, on pages 47 to 80. Given what is mentioned above, we can link this conceptual frame to how mother tongues is discussed and dealt with in North African educational context. We will do that very shortly. Let us now explore how the concept of mother tongues is dealt within other similar multilingual contexts. For example, in a research paper titled The Place of Indigenous People in African Development, Dr. Wandiria in 2015 argues that indigenous or mother tongues can and should be a tool and a vehicle for development in multilingual Africa. In fact, as early as 1951 and 1968, and we can refer to the UNESCO again in 1951 and officially in 1968, it was reported that experts observed the following. The mother tongue is a person's natural means of self-expression, and one of his, again the his, first needs is to develop his power of self-expression. Number two, every pupil should begin his formal education in his mother tongue, and there is nothing in the structure of any language that precludes it from becoming a vehicle of modern civilization. In November 1999, the General Conference of the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, UNESCO again, claimed February 21st as the International Mother Tongue Day, which is celebrated worldwide. Furthermore, in 2005, the Education for All Global Monitoring Report team working with UNESCO declared the quest to achieve education for all is fundamentally about assuring that children, youth, adults gain the knowledge and skills they need to better their lives and to play a role in building more peaceful and equitable societies. This is why focusing on quality is an important an imperative for achieving EPA, which is education for all. As many societies strive to universal basic education, they face the momentous challenge of providing conditions where genuine learning can take place for each and every learner. In 2006, the African Union Executive Council met in Sudan. It acknowledged the importance of African languages and their role in building and integrating Africa into the global community. It recommended that the African Union declare a special year for revitalizing African languages. The African Union Assembly accepted the recommendation and tasked its commission with the responsibility of coordinating the activities to promote the Year of African Languages in collaboration with the UNESCO and other institutions. Among societies that strive to universal basic education, we obviously find communities in North Africa, particularly the Moroccan society. In North African intellectual circles, Morocco to be precise, and many others, dealing with educational topics, the issue of the use of mother tongue, i.e. Moroccan Arabic, Darija, instead of standard Arabic or Fusha in schools is now discussed in the open, and with passion from those who are opposed to Darija and those who are pro-Darija. In September 11, 2018, Safa Kasraoui of the Morocco World News reported, quote, after his controversial remarks about standard Arabic, Noordin Ayush has referred to his critics as dogs. Here we are reminded of the debate between the above-mentioned critic and others regarding the use of mother tongues in the school. The discussion continues to be the subject of a heated debate on social media. And the topic is not new. It is important to remember that the medium of instruction, or MOE, which is what the this talk is about is quite different from the issue of the introduction of lexical items from Darija Moroccan Arabic into textbooks. I'm not dealing with the issue, we're talking about something completely different, which is how to convey knowledge to students in elementary school via their mother tongue in order for them to access knowledge and to understand what the teacher is telling them, what the teacher is trying to convey to them. And I'll give you a little anecdote. I have a nephew who is in elementary school, and he reported to me that because the teacher, a female teacher, spoke Berber to them and explained in Berber the concepts of math and everything that she was teaching to them, they understood it better than when someone is talking to them in a different language. So that's basically what we're talking about. We're not talking about an officialization of anything, or because this is a touchy subject that nobody wants to touch. So we should remember that UNESCO's recommendation that people should begin their schooling through the medium of the mother tongue because they understand it better and because to begin their school life in the mother tongue. We are talking about the medium of instruction, i.e. the mother tongue to count, to do math, to solve problems, to understand the physical world around the students, and at the cognitive level. I am aware of the proponents' use of the title language in foreign language education classes. And I go back to the classes in the United States, for example, and the famous I+1 of Krashen's model, for example, where you have to use the target language in order for the target language to develop in the minds of students, etc. We're not talking about that here. The issue here is how to ensure that learners in multilingual contexts receive quality education, and insist for all children, and the potential is great in Morocco. And I go back to when you were talking, when Dr. Gass was talking about how Morocco is different, multilingualism, etc. It's something that enriches the nation rather than something that is impoverishing the nation, which is something that the United States is struggling actually to get at. They're trying as much as possible to be as multilingual as possible, but there, as Dr. Gass showed, there are lots of obstacles. The issue is how to ensure that learners in a multilingual context receive quality education for all children. Again, UNESCO experts emphasize, quote, "We consider that the shock which the young child undergoes in passing from his home to his school life is so great that everything possible should be done to soften the shock. The use of the mother tongue will promote better understanding between the home and the school when the child is taught in the language of the home." UNESCO again. In addition, mother tongues in a multilingual approach are essential components of quality education, which is itself the foundation for empowering women and men and their societies, remarks Irena Bukova, the former Director General of UNESCO from 2009 to 2017. Worldwide, an effort is underway to revitalize minority languages. Regarding North Africa, it is important, however, to recall the legacy of colonialism and the conflict between French and Fusha, or Standard Arabic, in schools. A conflict that has affected and continues to affect the manner in which mother tongues are perceived among the public. For example, opponents of the mother tongue and the mother tongues and the proponents of language planning of all types have always rejected the hybrid nature of the two mother tongues of Moroccans, Tamazight and Darija. In the 21st century, in the era of globalization, the denial of this hybridity and hybrid identities is not only untenable, but amounts to denying reality. Recently, however, critics of the use of mother tongues mother tongues have become more and more pragmatic toward these mediums of communication. Since 2003, Agence France Presse, Moroccan children began to learn Tamazight in public schools. Mother tongues began to surface in tutorials in science lessons in Darija on the internet. For example, there's a couple of guys who did a wonderful job teaching physics and math and all kinds of things using Darija. It's fascinating. Mother tongues have a role to play in making sure that education for all is achieved. In a country where 10 years ago literacy was only achieved at 60% or so, and I count among those people many members of my own family. The discussion ought to be on the quality of education rather than the ideological arguments surrounding which language to use in education as a medium of instruction. Recently, it was reported that the Prime Minister, the head of the government of Mali, made it clear that he believes Darija cannot be used in education. He said the government is ready to give up on school books with some Darija words after a consultation with the concerned parties. Mr. El-Othmani added that the two official languages in Morocco are Central Arabic and Tamazight, as recognized by the Moroccan constitution. But here we're basically, there's an amalgamation of what is official, what is not official, rather than what is beneficial to students in schools and what can transmit knowledge. The reporter added that the head of the government also called on the Minister of Education to give an explanation to the public about the use of Darija in school books. Commenting on the African multicultural context, Benson, 2014, notes that one myth that can be dispelled is the time-honored colonial view that multilingualism reflects serious social divisions and detracts from national unity. Certainly, individuals' languages choices can result in exclusions or inclusions, but the daily linguistic practices of Guineans, for example, with whom the author is familiar, have contacts with, and is familiar with, indicate great mutual interest in communication. Secondly, I come to my second label, I don't have time anymore. So let me go to my conclusion, right? So let me conclude. I didn't get to touch on your. Oh, okay, sure. Thank you. Knowledge also becomes. One of my ideas is that language is actually a commodity that can be used to further one side or another, or sell and buy things. So language can be bought, can be used to for economic reasons, etc. But knowledge also becomes a commodity. The efficiency of its transmission or lack thereof can create unintended inequalities. We can clearly see that in the school system, that this inequality in the school system and the results that it provokes. In conclusion, I have touched upon several aspects which I'm passionate about of mother tongues in education, from the definition to how mother tongues are dealt with in several contexts, to linking the issue to the African context. Actually, I didn't do that very well because I didn't have time. Finally, I explored the idea of the mother tongue and how it can be used to enhance education in the educational system, not to use it as ideological ping pong. Yeah, give you ping pong, you give me the other ping pong. Our students in our communities need to understand math, need to understand geography, to understand everything they're taught. But if they cannot understand language, there is no content going through. Outside of Africa, no one Bank Bozy observes, outside of Africa, no one questions Why the languages of countries where smaller populations in Europe should be used as a medium of instruction and including the university, even up including the university level. What seems to be lacking in many African countries is the political will to break away from the colonial policy and the practice of limiting mother tongue education to lower primary classes. Actually happens in Africa. Some countries like Tanzania or Nigeria have used the mother tongues to teach, and their results, although they're not perfect, they actually give some flaws. When such will exists, much can be done in a short period of time. When children develop their mother tongue, they are simultaneously fostering a whole host of other skills, essential skills, such as critical thinking and literacy skills. It is this skill set that they take with them into formal education, and research tells us that any skill and concepts gained in the learner's home language don't need to be re-taught when they transfer to another language. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ali. I think you have made the argument very clearly, and especially it is at the heart of the issues that we will be discussing. I mean, the issue of language of instruction, mother tongue. Except that they have one reservation concerning the use of the word minority, which is not appropriate in our context, to be honest. We'll discuss it. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sure the audience will have, good questions or comments about the things for that. Thank you anyway for setting the scene for what's going to come in terms of the issues of language instruction. Okay, our second speaker this morning, and I would like you, on behalf of I would like the audience to welcome you because you come from, you are our neighbor from Nigeria. Obviously, I think it's a paper prepared by you and your friend. Okay, she is a research student, doctoral research student in sociolinguistics and language contact, languages in contact or language contact. I mean, we can use both, I think, interchangeably, no problem. In the English department of the University of Tlemcen, which is next door. Yeah, which is not far away. Okay. Now, Mrs. Rissi is going to talk to us about a related issue, a reflection on Bourdieu's linguistic market in the multilingual Algerian society. And I'm sure that when we talk about multilingual society, I mean, whether you call it Algeria or Morocco or Tunisia or Mauritania, I think it's the same thing. Yeah, more or less. So, the floor is yours. I think you have a presentation there.
بسم الله والكرامة والصلاة على المصطفى. أما بعد. Ladies and gentlemen, honorable audience, good morning. So, as it is displayed on the first slide, my presentation is entitled Dominant versus Dominated Languages, a reflection on Bourdieu's linguistic markets in the multilingual Algerian society. Here the outline, the terminological concepts of Pierre Bourdieu and languages of the Algerian linguistic markets. The main target of the present paper is reflecting Pierre Bourdieu's thoughts on the Algerian linguistic profile, in which four main languages compete with each other in a sphere of a phased and achieved Arabicization policy, engendering a very complicated multilingual and language contact situation, where dominates Dominant languages are imposing their power on other ones. Therefore, light is to be shed on those power relations in the Algerian linguistic markets. Pierre Bourdieu has developed many key concepts. Pierre Bourdieu has developed many concepts aimed at a better understanding of the social world in general. He sought to deal with this world as a set of contiguous words which are characterized by independence in the forms of what are called fields, in which each individual is equipped with the habitus that controls his perceptions and behaviors at the same time. The field thus represents society, human gatherings, classes, and the habitus represents the individual and the personality in conflicts between freedom and determinism. In fact, these individuals and their social groups are interrelated, where field and habitus continuously produce society which impacts on them and draws their features. Okay? Both field and habitus